Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. This is our Twitch recap from last Sunday's live show where, amongst other things, we actually did a live launch of our Cosmos 228 mission. This is a sister mission to the Cosmos 1201 that went up just a few episodes ago, but we did it live because I'm really bad at time management. So I will kick you over to old me live during the broadcast. So, welcome everyone out to the launch pad. This is our Cosmos 228 mission. Please don't let me screw up that. This was also built by Simulation Gaming. It is a sister mission to the Venera 17 that went out, 2 episodes ago? That was absolutely amazing. This one is equally amazing, and I'm really excited to fly this thing and show it off to you. The problem is now that, of course, since I'm doing it live, I'm going to screw it up, and I'm going to have some very angry people, because of course this Mark 6 Shuriken was built by Wookieed Aerospace. This is another entirely contracted mission. So like I've flown exactly 0 things that I've built in the last, well, since last Sunday. Almost looks like the shuttle. I've never put any research into the SRBs, so I just generally don't have ones that are nearly as good as the liquid boosters. Alright, oh, we need to set target. I can't just go. This is not a simulation. I have to actually do stuff. Set as target. Mech Jeb window. I'm going to start keying up action groups if I do that. Rendezvous planner, 5.6 degrees. Well, we did just launch. I mean, I guess it's literally been like an hour or 2 since our last launch, so I imagine this is going to be on the way up. It is indeed. So it's we're going to spend the night here on the launch pad. Come back to this tomorrow. Let me pay attention to these numbers so I don't work past it and accidentally have to stake another day on the launch pad. This crew is very experienced and probably entirely fed up with my shit. Not equally. You're rush building it before leaving for the New Year's holidays. Not as much love as the 1201. It does not show. Yep, 2 shuttles in flight at the same time. Agree, it must be a lot of noise for them, but you know, they don't pay the bills. Shuttle flights pay the bills. And, you know, they're not breaknecking through science. Can't imagine how they get a lot of sleep. Well, say their level of restedness is not my problem. Oh, no, spinning wheel. Okay, thank God. SAS is on. Throttle set to full. Inclination with the moon is go. Ignition. Looks like a solid light. It was not. Okay, thank God. It takes a little while longer for those boosters to spool than our main engines. Oh, it is entirely funny. I'm actually kind of gleeful in the fact that there's people living out here in Titusville that just don't sleep for weeks on end because there's launches every couple of days. Local town is owned by the agency. Just employees and astronauts. And I'd like to think that they're all huge fans of the space program, so they all come out to watch launches. It's like this huge community event with like barbecues and, you know, like a Ferris wheel. Next 3 windows will be much more expensive. Oh good, like the one where the crew has to go. Dang it. Alright. 95 meters per second, we can start to lead into this because our TWR is going to get extra awesome-ish. So I will apologize in advance, chat, if I'm not the most attentive for a little while, because getting this to a nice orbit is critical. Ferris wheel, you mean centrifuge. It's probably a downgraded centrifuge, in that we probably had a few of those lying around. Alright, which way? Other way. Tip it, tip it. Let's get that relative inclination down, down, down. 2.6, I'll settle for that. They don't care about safety. They get really close to the launch pad, and we let them, because they've all signed waivers. If they get vaporized or liquefied or suffer internal injuries due to shock waves, it's not our fault or problem. Oh man, you had the opportunity to watch STS-125 back in the day. Man, I have never seen an actual launch. I live in the middle of the Midwest, so obviously no one's flying out of here, and I've never been in a location where there is a launch during a launch. It's one of those things on my bucket list. Alright, 16 kilometers. We probably need to get some altitude under this thing before we get a whole lot of speed under our belt. Otherwise, that nose of that cryogenic tank is going to disagree with my piloting in a violent manner. I'd love to see a Falcon Heavy launch, especially if I could watch Falcon Heavy's boosters land. Like, that's a I can die happy kind of thing. Prograde vector slipping a little underneath us. Shuriken doing a little bit of a boogie wobble. Come on, Jaeger. I know you're like 75 years old, but you're better than this. He's doing an excellent job of keeping that relative inclination right where we want it. And it looks like we've settled into something that's great. Or stable, sorry, which sucks because we need to nose down like a bunch by now. Here to here-ish. We should be at about the point in the flight where we can point wherever we want to. I think more of a 45-ish year. Wait, what? That is an excellent idea. You can put Dragon 2 pods instead of nose cones on the boosters. Carry tourists for suborbital flight. Jaeger's 45. Oh, no, no. Yep, there's that getting angry with my flight plan in a violent manner thing happening. Keep the nose up, Jaeger. Get it. Don't explode things at 70 kilometers. Do not abort this mission. Just, no. Nope. Come on. 177. Yeah, we can actually be a lot lower in the profile by now. Which I guess no, we couldn't have because we would have burned off parts of our external fuel tank. What year is the campaign at now? It is, yeah, 1989. We are a month or two away from 1990. Well, less a month and some change, I should say. So I think it's like, what, the 22nd, 23rd? Here, let's... Yeah, it is the 325th day of 1989. Boosters up. Clearing away. 15. 4 minutes of runtime, 2 minutes 44 left on the engines. I'm not going to do a belly down roll. We're instead just going to try to angle this in for good flight. Also, Voyager window. Voyager window was 77. We launched a bunch of stuff, some of which is getting to Pluto and Neptune in a year or two. And yes, I have had to do a return to launch site abort in a shuttle. It was an SKS the first time. We had a random explosion on a engine plate elevator flap control, and chose to abort the mission and return to the runway. It's your birthday in a month or so. Call for a 0-year-old dispatched astronaut to be added to the save file or riot. A 0-year-old? Oh, like it would be the date of your actual birthday? Don't answer that. I don't want to kick your personal information out there. You and me both, SimG. So, I've been alive in this save file for a few years now. More than, I mean, not many, but a few. Not more than 10, but not less than 5. Or not. As the first official SKS flight was a polar satellite, because I just wanted to test its flight characteristics in its return. The second ones were, I think, where we started building Kauai Potato Station. Your birthday's in less than a week, so where's your Kerbal? Man, everybody's birthday is clustered like right around mine. That's crazy. I'll say, get at me on the Discord, because I don't, like, DM me on Discord. I think people's actual birthdays being represented by a hiring of a Kerbal is a fun thing to do. I think it's a fair bet. We could probably start doing that. Oh, it's right, the launches to displace Tremonia. I am forgetting those. I'm also forgetting my relative inclination. Thanks, chat. And we don't have much time to correct this. Not that I think it matters a whole lot, considering how off-plane from Venus we actually are. But it might. Could I think of that in like November? Yeah, I wish I could have, but I think it's only fair to honor birthdays that have already happened in the save file also. Oh, it's going up. I messed up. Stop reading chat. Sorry, chat, I have to stop reading you. I will come back. Don't worry, no messages will be missed. Damn it, Jaeger. It's like .28. That is an acceptable margin. Level it in. Time to apogee falling. Apogee itself still climbing. Let's angle this back down. I don't want to get too much higher. I would like some Oberth effect left. Although we have quite a lot of rocketing to do. Alright, so I think I can ignore this for a second. That was the year you turned 30. Happy birthday when it happens. You're joining the old guys. Off-plane transfers, always fun. 21. 21 could be a good year. No significance whatsoever. I mean, for us in the States, it does. No special birthdays. Nope. All birthdays are special. So yeah, get at me on the Discord, and we'll talk about some Kerbals for birthdays, as far as getting them into the save, because it looks like we're going to have a lot more orbital flights that we can train people up, and maybe some moon missions that we can train even more people up before we have to disperse a lot of Kerbals to both Mars and Venus on extended stays. So we are going to be on a hiring spree shortly, and I think it's probably about time to retire some of the originals. Like, our orange shoots have been on active flight duty since 1950. That was 40 years ago. I mean, not uncommon for somebody to do a job for 40 years, but kind of uncommon to do this job for 40 years. No, I mean retire. I'm not gonna missing in action them. I mean, I don't know. What's the legit way of doing it? To hire the Kerbals, then rename them the said name. Kerbals live for 400 years. Indeed. If there's a naming bout, there'll be Kerbals hired for people who get names, and then the save file will be edited to reflect those names. Although I'm going to ask, don't use your real name. Please. I do not want to disseminate personal information, no matter how readily available it is. Online aliases are more fun anyway. Within reason. Please don't ask me to name a Kerbal something that is going to get me banned from YouTube. Or Twitch. No, the Scott Manley face on Kerbals is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. I refuse to do it. No. That's nightmare fuel. All respect to Commander Manley. He does not look good as a Kerbal. No. He looks even worse as the moon. Can you imagine that texture stretched out over the Realism Overhaul moon? It's going to be indistinguishable. Also would need new texture mapping, because there's a lot of really nice, long, low, flat landing space. The Hoff. Make the sun Scott Manley. And the Scott Manley did smile, and it was good. Alright, we're coming up on main engine cutoff. Shut down. 288 by 267. I'll take that. That's just a roundly good orbit. Oh, excess liquid oxygen in this tank. That's interesting. Ooh, scusa. So we need to transfer over our Scott Manley. We can add the Hoff to one of the planets. I thought you hated that texture, and now you want to texture entire planets with David Hasselhoff? This has gone downhill a lot faster than I thought it would. Come on, KSP. You keep pumping that fuel around, yo. That is a skybox. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, I want to leave that open just to make sure, since Wookie isn't here to tell me how wrong I'm doing things. or if I'm doing things wrong, I just want to make sure. I'm pretty sure that's our only tank, so we're going to go ahead and jettison our EFT, which should be our next stage. Indeed. EFT away. RCS to arm. We need to post Miko. That will lock the gimbals on our HG3s. But only a very small portrait in some often overlooked direction. That I would do. Honestly, if had I the skills, I would Photoshop Scott Manley's face like right there in that one particular thing and never tell anyone about it. And then get spooked every time you notice it. Almost. There we go. Alright. And let's wait for daybreak. It would be easy to add Scott and Hoff to the skybox. Oh, good. Oh, great. Well, I'm not going to tell you to go ahead and do it. Just that if you send me a file and I slip it in here and not tell anyone, it's because I'm not telling anyone, and it'll be awesome should anybody notice. And for years, people will scour videos from here forth looking for Scott Manley and David Hasselhoff amongst the stars. Kraken, stay away. Indeed. Alright, we can ditch Rendezvous Planner. What's my cargo bay doors? Group 5. Let's do this the proper way. Dun dun. And this has a similar deploy mechanism, correct? Oh man, this thing is just absolutely amazing. And all the detail that went into everything, it's fantastic. And yeah, we had to change all these tanks around to Scott Sunlight. Oh Jesus! Now that's nightmare fuel, shady nasty. With the Teletubbies with the face in it. David Helios off. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, no. Deployment is what I'm looking for, SimG. Not release, I would assume. Oh, I know. I wish there was a window back here so we could observe stuff. Make sure our power generation is taken care of. What are these? Oh yeah, for the fuel cells, we had a little bit of boil off. Should probably kick those on, or at least kick one of them on. I have in fact seen Napoleon Dynamite, but it has been many years. And I can tell you I was probably not in a correct state of mind when I did see it. Skavid Manly off. Alright. So let's let this settle in. If you could just settle in, please. Thank you. Alright, so I'm looking for Action Group 1. I mean, this would be about the view. Let's lock the camera, which I need to see. Camera orbital, camera chase, camera locked. F2. Nope, come on. Alright. And Action Group 1. A little bit of buoyancy in there, but man, just so awesome. Then action group 2 is deploy. Man, yeah, hiding Twitch chat would have been a good idea, huh? Dang it. Alright, so, what needs to be done? RCS com power. Capture stage RCS, probably don't need that. And certainly don't need any of those, so RCS comms and power will do that. Do we have... No, probably need to unlock some fuel. Are these the only fuel pods for RCS, or do I need to go fishing around in here also? Nope, that's kerosene liquid oxygen. We'll deal with that in a bit. I just want to make sure these stay nice and level. Yeah, that was an Infernal Robotics hinge down there that did the deployment kickoff for us. We should probably target Earth. What is the mission? These are comsats to give us a communications network around Venus for expansion and future missions. Since we have a remote tech guidance unit going out with our Venus station, that means 6 Kerbals being on the station can control remote things as if they were a ground station, which cuts our signal delay time from minutes to seconds. I mean, in most cases, less than a second, which is absolutely phenomenal and will make things so much easier, especially in the case of rovers that flip themselves over and need something on an action group to right themselves. So I imagine for each of these, one of these dishes will get pointed to active vessel and the other one will get pointed home. Probably. SimG will have to give me a update on that. Okay, good. We have thrust control. Do we have torque? All right. Does this have torque wheels on the escape stage by any chance? Maybe, maybe not. All right, so let's bring up Maneuver Planner and get our course plotted here. And this will be just about the only truly speddy uppy bit for most of this episode, because I just kind of wanted to show you what flying during a live stream is actually like, and if you're left with the impression that it's anything other than a whole lot of fun, well then I just can't help you. But plotting nodes, on the other hand, is a little spurious at best, tedious, and makes it very hard to engage with chat on more than a superficial level. But anyway, Mech Jeb was telling us that we had to leave in a year, or almost 2 years, really, which was absolutely not the case. Mech Jeb has been wrong on many, many occasions before, so we just had to plot this node manually, which is why this is all sped up footage. So there was first finding the appropriate angle at Earth in which to depart, which turns out is very, very close to the day-night terminator, which was kind of against my intuition, but as you can see, with needing so much radial out, that means you should really just move the node either further or closer in on your orbit. But we did, in fact, get a decent encounter with Venus for something like the 36 something meters per second. It wasn't that expensive, so I don't know why Mech Jeb was telling us that there was no transfer window currently when there absolutely is a transfer window, and it's really not all that expensive considering we have just flown 2 missions within about 48 hours of this launch that also were able to transfer to Venus at a relatively cheap Delta V. This is, of course, no exception. We're trying to get our targeting right. So I actually broke out the Mech Jeb maneuver node editor and eventually got this node to something that kind of resembled what we wanted. Although this mission being a ComSat mission, we kind of want them to be as equatorial as possible, so I anticipate a mid-course correction after this has departed Earth SOI, but of course that will probably be touched on in a much later episode. We are coming up on a node that was kind of good enough because, I'm just going to screw it up anyway, so I will turn you back over to old me live during the broadcast. It's not too bad. But again, we're going to need a mid-course correction right after we leave Earth SOI anyway to fix that inclination thing and get these on a more equatorial path. And a 3490 ejection burn really isn't bad. That does leave us some left in these tanks here to get us home. Why is that reading 7 kilometers per second? That's that engine. That's that, and SEP, and that's that. I mean, we don't have anywhere near all of our tanks unlocked. We're reading 7 kilometers per second on this stage. There's got to be some kind of error, or is this... Well, we'll see what happens. I'm willing to bet those numbers will reconfigure themselves real fast once we start turning the engine on. Okay, good. All these tanks are already unlocked. That's happy times. And they're... Yep, source tank also open. So that should be everything we need. No, do not adjust your throttle. Bro, 2 hours to go. What's our power draw looking like? Move our action groups. Close the Mech Jeb. Oh, come on. Draining, but we're going to be alright. Is staging checked? Engine activation, separation, which throttle is 0. Let's go ahead. Well, we're going to save the engine activation. Stage set, disposal, engines, satellite deployment. Staging looks solid. So let's wave goodbye to our shuttly friend. We've got about 2 hours to kill. Floating next to the shuttle, it was probably the clamps that held the tie downs for this thing. We may have, yeah, decouplers. We may have generated some kind of debris. Alright. 1 hour. Can't see the time. 1 hour, 9 minutes. So we got another orbit. We can still see the shuttle. That's good. They can keep eyes on it, make sure everything goes well, and if not, maybe they can come collect it or something. So rated runtime on this engine, I mean, this is reporting 9 minutes 34 seconds, which I find very interesting. Are all these tanks still full? They are. I don't know why we're getting such immense Delta V out of this thing. No, I did not mean to come out of this just yet. We're going to get it down to about the 6-minute mark. 7, there we go. Let's get ourselves angled in. Camera's still in locked mode. We should be looking this way. We should have turned SAS off so that it doesn't screw up my navigations. Scary indeed. We're going to skim a little low here. Alright, engine activation. Hold to maneuver node, please, and thank you, sir. Whew. Alright, we're going to light on the 5-minute mark, so let's bring up our engine information window here. Puppers. Very stable. Okay, good. 4 ignitions remaining. Well, this engine came with 5. I certainly don't think I used one. Whatever. Hopefully we can do what it needs to do on 3, so... 9 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition, 0, solid light. We are off. And we have a plume this time. Oh. I need to keep an eye on these numbers. What's our time to periapsis? 2 minutes. I don't think we're going to push that too low. This is reading like our Delta V readout is accurate. How the hell did we get so much more Delta V out of this thing? What doesn't have fuel in it that's supposed to have fuel in it? This time. Estimated burn 12 minutes. High scoff it's you stock burn time reader. Yeah, I hope it's just a Mech Jeb error, because it looks like everything has the fuel that it's supposed to have. I made no adjustments other than, since we don't have the 58M. Yeah, we don't have the RD-58, so this is a lesser engine, and the fuel tanks were configured individually, so I swapped them all to mixed configuration. But couldn't really check the Delta V status because I didn't want to pull it out of the bay to do the things. But I messed with absolutely nothing else up here. Compare stage time countdown to the in-game clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it seems like they're... I mean, they're not sync, but it seems like their rate is the same. It was rush built, so things could go wrong. Could. You know, good enough. But I mean, hey, if it comes in with 7 kilometers per second, we'll have absolutely no problem achieving exactly the orbit we want, right up until the second when we run out of ignitions. Which will be right before Aero capture, or right before propulsive capture. This is not Aero capture. And I do notice that even though these tanks are unlocked, we're getting a 0 DV read. That's very interesting. Those don't seem to affect the numbers. That is very interesting. Mech Jeb hates 1 kilonewton thrusters. Yeah, 7K does not seem right, but if that's the case, we could use this exact same platform to throw things at Jupiter? Look if crossfeed is enabled on the decoupler. Well, let's check this. Fuel crossfeed false. Yeah, that is acting as our decoupler. Try adding another empty stage, sometimes that helps. Negative 19 meters per second, that's those things. Well, that number certainly shifted a whole lot. I solved one problem, but still don't know why we're seeing 0 dV on this stage. Oh yeah, rebuild it all you want. I mean, this is a very viable platform for launching cargo, and shuttle missions, especially when you can have 3 crew, are very profitable. Same's on the 1201, by the way. Indeed. I will say I did not like the single ignition on the RD-109. I'd much prefer this one as a platform because it has error when I inevitably screw it up. And I will inevitably screw it up. Yeah, we are still on the way down, but yeah, periapsis is 247, so we're about to start going up. Yeah, 3 seconds. That was the number I was looking for. Okay, you don't like doing that? That's fair. My bad. We'll just do this. Only 47K. Those are rookie numbers. You gotta get those numbers up. Say, I don't know. This one's at like 23K. So, you know, I can't honestly talk. Alright, I know I'm like 10 minutes from ending this, but I really have to go pee. So I'm gonna mute the mic. What do I have left on this burn? At least 4 minutes, perhaps? So I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Many apologies. Alright, I've returned. Garbage collections are scary. They are. Garbage collections are always terrifying in this game. RSP install. I'll say oh man, I don't remember now, but I'm pretty sure I ranked up these thrusters to be level 7. I'm about 99% sure because I just unlocked the level 7 tech and it was included in the original design. So they should be level 7. And I did not change their fuel type from UDMH and N2O, I hope. And when you think, oh god, it crashed, I have to redo this stuff. Yeah, it happens to me a lot, and occasionally I'm like, oh thank god it crashed. I don't have, this mistake has just been wiped clean for me. Yeah, I guess we'll see when it gets there. Only 700 more meters per second left on this burn. We're only 2 minutes past the node, so that worked out pretty well. We're going to be a little early. Not that that's a good thing. It usually screws everything up for me. And engine does not throttle. Yeah, we haven't even hit escape velocity. I love how quickly all of this stuff happens. It is in fact heading to Venus. Amazes me that there's a 300 some odd, 200 some odd meter per second difference between going to the moon and going to Venus. Alright, so when we see that encounter thing light up, I'm just going to shut down and we'll touch it up on thrusters. Please let that encounter thing just show up. 70 meters per second. Shut down. A little late. Oh, hey, look at that. Alright. That was our proposed. This is our actual. Coming in a little better than I thought, actually. Oh, and look at how just smooth as silk this corrects. It's just a little bit of N key. Backing it off just a little bit. Oh, that's... Yeah, we'll just, we'll leave it here, and then we'll plot our mid-course. RCS off. So we don't screw that up. That is awesome. Yes! Yes! Nailed it! I mean, not nailed it. We still have to do a mid-course correction, but it's on its way. And it looks really good doing it. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry. Yes. Even better. And there you have it. Another successful departure in the books. This mission has been renamed to Venera Horizons, and it is on its way to Venus. We do have a mid-course correction. I'm sure I've mentioned that like twice now, but you know, we'll get to that eventually. And it does look absolutely phenomenal going wherever it's going. That's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.